Hello everyone, my name is Asyrafchazz and welcome back to yet another One Piece card game video. The official One Piece Japanese Twitter page has officially given us the rules for the game. We finally have a rule sheet given on the website itself, on the Twitter page, and the community. Big shout out to the community over on the Discord. They have been translating everything, so we're gonna talk about what we know so far about the rules for the One Piece card game. Now, the official rules are in Japanese, but I took the time to translate using like Google Translate to translate it into English, so it might not be 100% accurate, but the gist of it is there. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing if you can. Thank you so much to the people in the One Piece card game Discord community for translating everything, for posting the photos. Really appreciate every single one of y'all. I love this community so much. So let's talk about the deck itself. So it will have one leader card, and the deck will be built with 50 colored cards similar to your leader card. So it does mean that if you're using a red Luffy card, the rest of your deck will have to follow the red color identity as well. Now this might just be a deck building restriction. There might be like neutral cards in the future, we don't know, but at least, you know, I am a fan of it having like, you know, colored requirements and having it be restricted to that. In the future, there'll definitely be hybrid leader colored cards that will expand the gameplay, but for now, you know, for the first set, being it tied to just one color, it's fine. Then secondly, you can use up to 4 cards with the same card number. Now this is similar to how other card games work. So if there are 2 different types of Luffy card, you know, maybe ST0 like from the starter deck and 1 from the main set itself, you can use up to 4 of each of them, provided that they have different numbers. And there will be an additional deck made of 10 Dawn cards. You can take a look. The Dawn cards have their own specific back. You know, it's this white greenish blue color scheme, and I really like how it looks like. And the deck is built with 3 different types of cards. So there will be the character cards that we know about, and there will be event cards. Now I talked about it in my previous video that whether or not there will be like effect cards. This is it. It's called event cards, and there will be a last card called the stage card, which we will talk about in more detail later on. So let's talk about the prep of the gameplay first before we go into the main rules. So once you have all the decks and your Dawn deck and the leader cards in their separate area, you draw 5 cards from the top of your deck, and there is a mulligan rule. So if you don't want to keep your hand of 5, you put all the cards back into the deck, you shuffle them, and you draw a new hand of 5. I think it's perfectly fair. That's how usually other TCGs does it as well, and this is great. And then after you have decided to keep your hand, you put the top cards of your deck into your life zone, depending on how much life your leader card has. And then you start the turn from the first player. There is a character area, there is a leader area, and then there's the stage card area. I'm not sure why the leader is in the middle of the damn board, but you know, it might be a design decision. And then there's the cost area where you will put your Dawn cards, which we will talk about later on. And then there's the trash, the deck area, the Dawn deck area, and your life area. So how you win the game is similar to the Digimon card game, where you have to remove all your opponent's life. So if they have 5 life, you have to reduce it down to 0, and then have to attack an additional time for the win. So that's the victory conditions of the One Piece card game. Now let's talk about how the flow of the game works. So first of all, like at the start of the turn, there's the refresh phase where you can all the Dawn cards that are attached to the different character cards, so your leader cards, go back to the cost area, and then you unrest all the rested cards on the side of your field. Then you go to your draw phase. You draw a card at the top of your deck. Then this is important, you go into the Dawn phase. Now the Dawn phase, in the Dawn phase, you take the top 2 cards of the Dawn deck and put it into your cost area. So each turn you will get 2 Dawn cards essentially. The first player that goes first only puts 1 Dawn card in the cost area, but every subsequent turn you'll take 2 cards from the Dawn deck and put it into the cost area, which means that by turn 2 both players would have essentially 3 Dawn cards for them to use. And this is very different from what we were expecting. We thought we was going to be like 1 Dawn card per turn, but it makes sense in when we talk about what the Dawn cards can do and how you'll be using them in battle and etc. So yeah, there's a lot of Dawn cards being put in your cost area, but it makes sense with the context of the game because you'll be using the Dawn cards a lot to give additional power to your character cards or your leader cards. So we'll talk about that even more later on. And then during the main phase, you can play your character cards by resting your Dawn cards to pay for the cost. We already expected that to happen. So if you have any event cards that are being played, you rest to pay for the cost of the event card. Then after the effect activates, you put it into the trash. Then next up, you can also, so for every unrested Dawn card, you can actually just attach it to your character or your leader card and give it like plus 1000 power. This is pretty interesting because it does not require like an additional ability from a certain card. As long as it's unrested, as long as you have not used the Dawn cards, you can actually attach it to a character card or leader card to give it plus 1000 power. Granted, it's only an additional 1000 power during your turn. You do not get the 1000 power boost during your opponent's turn. So when the card that the Dawn card is attached to leaves the battlefield, it goes back to your cost area but rested. So for example, if you attach it to Jinbei and Jinbei is destroyed and goes to the trash, the Dawn card that was attached to Jinbei will go back to your cost area rested so that you can use it in the following turn. So it's not like it goes to the trash as well. So there's different card effects for the game as well. So what we think is that if a card has a Dawn card attached to it, then you can use this effect. We'll talk about it later on when we take a closer look at the Jinbei card that was revealed. Then there are cards that says like Dawn -1, which you return the Dawn card, a rested Dawn card or an unrested Dawn card. Actually, we don't know. You return a Dawn card back to the Dawn deck to activate the card's effect. And then lastly is like active Dawn in the cost area. So it can, like, this effect can be used by resting a Dawn cards depending on how much you need to rest, depending on the ability itself. And then lastly, during the attack phase, you can rest your character cards to declare it as an attack. However, the character cards have summoning sickness, so you cannot attack with a card that you just played. Then as long as your characters or leaders attack is higher than your opponent's leader attack, it will contribute as a successful attack, and your opponent will lose 1 life. If your power is less than the opponent's leader attack, your character cards will not be destroyed, it will just be an unsuccessful attack. And then it will go to the end phase, and during the end phase, effects with like during this turn will no longer be valid, it will be invalidated, and then it will proceed on to the opponent's turn. So now let's talk about the battle procedure, the phases during battle. So first of all, you will declare your attack by resting the card that you want to attack with. For example, let's take Jinbei attacking into Kaido. Let's say it's Jinbei with a Dawn card attached to it, so it has 6000 power, and I will rest it to declare an attack on my opponent's leader, which is Kaido. If there's any like when attacking effects, it will trigger during this phase. Then there will be a block step, so if your opponent has blockers, they can choose to block the attack itself. Next up, we'll go into the counter step. So there are cards with counters on them, like event cards, and also character cards with counters on them. You can counter the attack by giving an additional power to your leader card to either, you know, buff it up to make sure that your opponent's attack is not successful. And then lastly, during the damage step, you will compare the power of the attacking card with the attack of the opposing leader card. And as long as your power is higher, it will be a successful attack and your opponent will lose 1 life. If the attack is lesser than the opponent's leader card, then nothing happens. So you can attack into leader cards or you can attack into rested character cards. If you have a higher power than your opponent's character cards and you attack it, after the damage step, it will be destroyed, it will be KO, and it will be put into the trash. So when your leader is damaged, you add the card from your life into your hand. Then at this time, if the card has any like trigger effects, you can reveal the card and then you can activate the card's effect, similar to how security card works in the Digimon card game. Then also, when the leader card is damaged but you don't have any life, you lose the game. So that's the general flow of how the turn goes and how the rules are for the One Piece card game. It seems like there's a lot of emphasis on the Dawn cards, boosting attacks, using it to pay for certain characters, and there's a lot of emphasis on it, which is great. That's why they are giving you like 2 Dawn cards as a resource per turn. It will make for some faster gameplay, but at the same time, it's all about resource management. Do you attach your unrested Dawn cards to your character cards that you want to attack with, or do you save them to keep up some event cards for counters, or use it to pay for other character cards and fill up your board? There's so much mechanics involved with this game regarding the Dawn cards, and I think it makes for such a unique experience moving forward. And this is just like the general basis of the rules. We don't even know some of the other additional effects that might be introduced in the future. Even then, it's still very exciting to talk about. So for this video, I'm just gonna touch on the rules. There are cards that are revealed, like what we've seen before, the Jinbei card and the Kaido card, and some additional event cards and the stage card as well. I will talk about those in a separate video, so because I don't want to make this video too long. But there you have it, the basic rundown rules of the One Piece card game. Once I have the physical cards and once I have a greater grasp on how to play the game, I will do a proper how to play video in the future, talking about how to play the game with much more detail, and hopefully you guys can look out for it. And if you want to keep up to date with those videos and more One Piece card game news, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing if you can. We finally have information. I'm so excited. But anyway, till the next time, I will post the video regarding the different cards that were revealed in the next video. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.